read it from the prophets, the wisdom books and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We authenticator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yahuweh, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. When we say the commandments, look mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep his commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, his saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with him as we read out of this great legacy, the greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We authenticator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yahuwah, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. When we say the commandments, look mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep his commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that that they don't understand. As it is written, his saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. About the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant congregation of Israel. We authenticate, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of YAHWEH, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. We be say the commandments. Look, mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep his commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, his saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface. The prince of this wicked world, the god of confusion, got black folk experiencing of strong delusions. Got ears that can't hear, mouths that won't speak, eyes that can't see that this curse is so deep. Deaf, dumb, and blind, committing sin, crime, repent. Oh, Israel, we're running out of precious time in the land where they saying Yahweh is dead, and you wondering why the innocent blood is shed. That's cause Satan's in the earth, he's walking to and fro, doing what he's told, being his status quo. Tempting man with pleasure and wickedness, denying the master, saying don't keep his commandments. Our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of nations, but you love earthly riches than salvation. That means get safety from tribulation and wrath. The broad way leads to death, and narrow is the path. Preach the gospel, spread the good news. The son of Elohim, Yahshua, king of the Jews, not king of the Christians. Nothing they do Christ like. They criminals of Yahweh, outlaws in his sight. Same-sex marriage is okay with the president. That old serpent, the devil, is controlling the government. No prayer in the school system, no truth in the black churches. That's food in our neighborhoods, children killing with no mercy. Look beyond the surface and show yourself approved. Do your own research, seek the spirit of truth. Beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. My name is Joseph ben Israel, and I am the elder priest of the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. We are located at 3901A Covenant Highway in Decatur, Georgia, 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869, and our website is www.thencci.org. Again, welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. Today's topic is Yahweh or Mother Nature. Let me repeat that. Yahweh or Mother Nature. Now, if you watched this program before, you know you must have your Bibles out to follow along what we're talking about today. People use the term Mother Nature all the time to explain the things pertaining to notable times in life, the weather, natural events, and natural environments. But what people do not realize is that Mother Nature is also the Greek goddess Gaia. And Gaia is also known as Mother Earth. Gaia is also known as Earth. And so when people say Mother Nature did this, or Mother Nature did that, they are actually glorifying a Greek goddess. It is mythological. But there's nothing mythological about the Bible. There's nothing mythological about Yahweh that created the heavens and the earth and all things therein. The Hebrew word for earth is eretz, E-R-E-T-S. Nothing more and nothing less. So people would rather believe in Mother Nature than in Yahweh, the creator of all things. Most people have never even heard of Yahweh. They would rather glorify the goddess Gaia. The goddess Gaia goes against everything written in the Bible. Even Christians have been known to use the term Mother Nature. But Christians also call on God. And so Christians have a God and a goddess that they call upon. But at least the goddess has a name, but the Christian God does not have a name. Let's start this off in Genesis chapter 1. Let's see how everything came to pass. In Genesis chapter 1, we're going to be skipping around some of the verses in Genesis because we've got a lot to cover. So let's start in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and earth. He did not create heaven and Gaia. He created heaven and the earth. Yahweh created heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the water. That says a lot in that verse 2, that second verse, because in that second verse what we have is that there was no form to the earth. Now what you have here are people saying that the earth is a globe. Well, when did that globe come to pass? Because here it says it was without form. And it also says that the Spirit of Elohim moved across the waters of the deep, the face of the deep. Well, that means that the earth was inside water. There was nothing else. There was no sun, no moon, no stars, nothing. It was just plain water. And in the midst of that water was the earth and was without form. So when did it become a globe? Well, that's a discussion for another program. Let's pick this up at verse 6. This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 6 and verse 7. And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So, understand what the word firmament means. It is an arc. It is like a dome. So he put that, we call it space. So there's water above space and water on the earth. Okay, let's understand what that's saying here. Let's go to verse 9 to verse 12. It says, and Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Again, this is Yahweh creating everything step by step, showing you how this whole earth came to pass. He's putting it all together. Let's pick this up at verse 14 to verse 18. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and to let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. Thus far, everything is good. So when you look up in the sky, you see the earth, and you see the sun and the moon and the stars. That is the firmament. But there's waters above the firmament. So when people say that they went to the moon or went to Mars, they still are in the firmament. But Yahweh's not going to let them do that, because there is no such thing as Mars and Neptune and all those planets they say that's out there. They've never been there. They've never been to the moon. Let's continue. Let's pick this up at verse 20 to verse 22. And it says, and Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Again, we're still talking about the earth and the space and the sky. And Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. So Yahweh is giving the commandment, telling y'all be fruitful and multiply. You don't hear Gaia saying this to nobody. This is not Mother Nature. Let's continue. Let's pick this up at verse 24 to verse 27. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him, and male and female created he them. Now you wonder, why am I using the word Elohim instead of God? Let's go back and read verse 26, and you'll see why. Elohim is a Hebrew word, and it fits more with what verse 26 is saying. Let me read it as it is written. Verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So who is this? God is singular. So why are we using plural words like us and our? Because God is the wrong word to use here. The correct word to use here is the Hebrew word Elohim. And Elohim denotes the plurality of Yahweh, in that we have a conversation going on here in Elohim. They said, let us, somebody's talking to someone else. Said, let us make man after our image and our likeness. So somebody's talking, in the word Elohim, what you have is Yahweh, and you have the angels, and you have Israel. That's what you have in Elohim. Not a trinity. That's something white folks made up. There's no such thing as a trinity. But we're breaking down the Hebrew word Elohim, so it can make a little bit more sense. So the angels in Israel may ask Yahweh, let us make man after our image and in our likeness. Okay, so the translators use the word God because they couldn't think of nothing else. So we got, this is the whole package here. It was all done in 6 days. So where's Mother Nature in the creation of all things? Where's Gaia in the creation of all things? We got Yahweh doing all this. We got Elohim doing all this, not Gaia. Where's Gaia's book? Where's Mother Nature's book saying that she did all this? Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Samuel 12, verse 16 to verse 18. 1 Samuel 12, verse 16 to verse 18. Now this is Samuel talking to the children of Israel. Now therefore stand and see this great thing which Yahweh will do before your eyes. Is it not wheat harvest today? I will call unto Yahweh, and he shall send thunder and rain, that you may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of Yahweh in asking you a king. So Samuel called unto Yahweh, and Yahweh sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared Yahweh and Samuel. So it didn't say Samuel called to Gaia. It didn't say Samuel called to Mother Nature. He called to Yahweh. And Yahweh answered him by doing what he asked him to do. Understand the difference between Yahweh and Mother Nature? But this is something that the Gentiles have been given over to. Let's go to Joshua 10, verse 12 to verse 14. Joshua 10, verse 12 to verse 14. Let's look at what that's saying here. In Joshua 10, verse 12 to verse 13, you're going to see a miracle here. In Joshua 10, 12 to verse 14, it says, Then spake Joshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ayalan. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people that had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before or after it, that Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man, for Yahweh fought for Israel. So that conflicts with what we've been taught in school in saying that the earth revolves around the sun. Well, how is that possible when Joshua called the sun to just stop? See, we've been taught in America that the sun stays still and the earth revolves around it. But what we have here is the sun is moving, and the moon is moving. So there's a conflict with the explanation of all things. So you can always go back to the worship, the Gentile worship of many gods, and Gaia is one of them. So that's a lie, that the sun stands still, the sun is stationary, and the earth rotates around the sun. That's not what this book is saying. It's the sun is on the move. Haven't you ever heard the phrase sunrise or sunset? Well, how is it that you have sunrise unless the sun is rising? And how do you have sunset unless the sun is setting? I mean, in the Farmer's Almanac, you got the same thing. You got the time for sunrise and the time for sunset. Well, how is that possible when the sun is stationary? See, we've been fed lies from elementary school to college that the earth rotates around the sun. And it's global there too. Let's continue. Let's go to, again, listen to what it says here, because Joshua called unto Yahweh to do these things, not Mother Nature. Let's go to Matthew 5, verse 43 to verse 45. Matthew 5, verse 43 to verse 45. You have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. You see what they're saying here? The Father causes the sun to rise and set. It's the Father that causes rain to come down, not Mother Nature. We're just showing you the difference between what's written in the Bible and what you've been taught by tradition. Let's continue. Mother Nature was derived from the Greek Parthenon of gods and goddesses. They were all statues and idols. There's a statue. There's a picture of Gaia. Let's go back to the Bible and see what the Greeks had for the worship, the God worship, can be found in the Bible here. Does Yahweh agree with the Greeks? Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 4 to verse 6. Exodus chapter 20, verse 4 to verse 6. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. For I, Yahweh thy Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So by law, we cannot worship a Greek goddess. But that is what white folks worship when they used to call themselves Greeks. They had idols and statues of their gods and goddesses, and they still have pictures of their gods and goddesses today. Let's continue. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15 to verse 19. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 16 verse 15 to verse 19. Take you therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yahweh spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth upon the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of them, should it be driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahweh thy Elohim have divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. So Yahweh gave the Greeks over to worship Gaia, to worship Mother Nature, and all the other gods that they worship, Zeus and Jupiter. Yahweh gave them that. When you look at the stars in the sky, Yahweh gave them over to worship the sun and the moon and the stars of heaven. That's why Christians go to church on Sunday, because Emperor Constantine made it a law that they must not keep the Sabbath day holy. They must go to church on Sunday because he worshiped the god, the sun god, called Sol Invictus. Sol Invictus. That was what the sun was called back in those days. So Constantine, Emperor Constantine, was an avid sun worshiper. This is why Christians go to church on Sunday, even though the Bible does not agree with what they're doing. They don't care about what the Bible says. They're going to church on Sunday because it's tradition now. But you can't find church, you can't find people worshiping on the first day of the week. It's always been the seventh day of the week. So if you're worshiping on the first day of the week, that means you're not worshiping Yahweh. You're worshiping a God of your imagination. You're worshiping a God that white folk taught you about. Let's continue. Let's go to Judges 2, 10 to verse 13. Judges 2, verse 10 to verse 13. Now, understand something. The whole Bible, from cover to cover, is about Yahweh and his chosen people, the children of Israel. It has nothing to do with Christianity, Islam, or even Judaism. It's about Yahweh and the children of Israel from cover to cover. It ain't got nothing to do with your religions. Let's pick this up in Judges 2, verse 10 to verse 13. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yahweh, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and served Baalim. And they forsook Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the people that were around about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked Yahweh to anger. And they forsook Yahweh, and served Baal and Ashtaroth. Well, that's a female deity. Ashtaroth is also Astarte. But you see how they broke the commandment not to worship any graven image? Well, they're doing it here. Showing you the mindset of the children of Israel back in those days. They did not take Yahweh seriously. Well, you look at black people today, because they are descendant from the children of Israel, and you see how they act today. It's the same way they were acting back in these days. This is our history book. The Bible is our history book. The way it's written, it has to be written that way because of our relationship with Yahweh. Yahweh is not a religion. If he's a religion, what religion is he? He did not give his people a religion. He gave them law. The law is not a religion. Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 4 to verse 6. Now, see, people say, well, you all in that Old Testament. Let's look. I was in Matthew a minute ago. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 4 to verse 6. As concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other Elohim but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, But to us there is but one Elohim, the Father, of which are all of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Adonai, Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Look at what it's saying here. There are many gods, and there are many lords. So when you talk about Gaia, you got to include not only the Parthenon of Greece, but the Pantheon of Rome. Because they had a bunch of gods in the Pantheon, a bunch of gods in the Parthenon. That's just what Paul is talking about here, that there are gods many and lords many. But there's only one God. Let's continue. Did Mother Nature cause the great flood during the time of Noah? Well, let's see. Let's pick it up. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 9 to verse 17. Genesis chapter 6, verse 9 to verse 17. Let's look at what it says here. Let's see why there had to be a flood upon the earth. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 9 to verse 17, it says, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with Elohim. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, where is the breath thereof, breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. So, Yahweh bringing a great flood upon the earth because of man's corruption. There's a reason why the flood came then, isn't it? Let me stop here and invite you out to the cultural center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. Again, we're located at 3901A, Covenant Highway, in Decatur, Georgia, 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. The website is www.thencci.org. We have a prophecy class every first day of the week, which is Sunday, at 11 o'clock a.m. Come on out and see what the prophets say that are written about in the Bible. And if you cannot make it in person, then you can follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a history class every third day of the week, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Come on out and learn about your history, because the Bible, again, is your history book. Actually, it's a history book of the whole world. So come on out and learn about your history, learn where you come from, learn who you are, and stop calling yourself black. You're the children of Israel. You're the chosen people. You cannot make it in person. You can come out. You can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a sisters only class every fifth day of the week, which is Thursday night at 8 o'clock p.m. You can join the sisters on Zoom. And lastly, we have a Sabbath day service every seventh day of the week, which is Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Come on out and see what it is like to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. This is your culture. This is where you come from, black people. Let's continue. Again, we're wondering if Mother Nature had anything to do with the great flood, right? Now, we got Yahweh telling Noah to build him an ark, build an ark to bring all the animals he's going to save into the ark, because he's getting ready to bring a great flood upon the earth. Let's pick up the rest of this story in Genesis 7, verse 6 to verse 12. And it says, and Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth, that went in two and two unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as Elohim had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Notice when we first began in Genesis, we said there was a firmament in the waters, and the firmament divided the waters from atop the firmament from the water below the firmament on the earth. Now look at what it says here in verse 11. It says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. So all those waters above the firmament, they came down upon this earth. And you had waters in the earth. They're starting to find out there are oceans within the oceans now, or seas within the seas. So what you see is not everything that when you look at an ocean, you're not seeing everything. So what we have here in an explanation telling us how did the whole world become flooded when it just rained for 40 days and 40 nights. No, there was some extra things going on here. That was the waters above the firmament, they came down upon the earth, and the waters on the earth, water came up out of the waters that were in the earth. So that caused the whole earth to be flooded. Let's continue. Let's go to Genesis 8, verse 20 to verse 22. And Noah built an altar unto Yahweh, and took every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Yahweh smelled a sweet savor, and Yahweh said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Yahweh did not recognize spring and autumn. He only recognized summer and winter. Spring and autumn came from where? White folks. But again, that's how they look at time and seasons. So we're in their captivity, so nothing we can do to change their hearts. Let's pick this up in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 to verse 13. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 to verse 13. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Adonai and Savior, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of Elohim the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. We just read that. Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. We just read that. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with Yahweh is, let me read that again. But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with Yahweh as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Let's see. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought you to be in all holy conversations and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. I don't see Mother Nature in that nowhere. So are you telling me that Mother Nature is going to burn up the whole earth and burn up the skies too? Why would she do that? Why would Mother Nature do something like that? Yahweh is doing this. You know why? Same reason that he flooded the earth. Because of corruptness and the wickedness of man back in those days, and the corruptness and wickedness in the last days of this earth, because Satan's going to be loose out of his prison after 1,000 years, and because there'll be leaven still among people, people are going to be corrupted, and so that will bring about the destruction of the earth. Yahweh's got to create him a new earth, because this earth here has been defiled. There's blood all over this earth. So Yahweh has to create him a new heaven and a new earth. And that new earth will be pristine, just like the first earth was. This new earth is also going to be pristine, but the only difference is there will be no more sin. People will be able to live forever. Consider what we're saying here. So you don't get this in a Christian church that the whole earth is going to be destroyed. Not a part, but it's going to be a lake of fire. Let's continue. People glorify Mother Nature or Gaia for natural events, weather, climates, and the natural environment instead of Yahweh. Let's go to Jeremiah 5, verse 20 to verse 24. Let's see if that, what the people of the book glorified Mother Nature. Let's go to Jeremiah 5, verse 20 to verse 24. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and publish it in Yehuda, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear you not me, saith Yahweh? Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for a bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over. But this people have a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear Yahweh our Elohim, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserved unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. See, Yahweh getting the glory, not Mother Nature. When it comes to rain, Yahweh gets the rain. When it comes to the harvest, Yahweh makes the plants grow. You get the harvest from Yahweh, not from Mother Nature. Let's continue. Let's go to Isaiah 45, verse 5 to verse 7. Isaiah 45, verse 5 to verse 7. Now see, I don't expect the Christian to be watching me right now, because they don't read this part of the Bible. And it can be confusing to them, because their preacher doesn't read it, so they don't read it either. They don't have anybody to teach them what the Bible is saying. That's the main thing about the Bible. You must have someone to teach you what this Bible is saying. Preaching will not give you understanding of what the Bible is saying. All you're getting from preaching is a lot of emotion, which has nothing to do with what's written in the Bible. Did Christ preach? Yes, he preached. But he preached the truth. He preached things that had to do with your salvation. So again, we are in, this is Isaiah 45, 5 to verse 7 Look at what it says here. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no Mother Nature. There is no Gaia. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no other God or goddess. He's the only God. You understand what the book is saying? So if you believe in Mother Nature, you're going against what's written in the Bible. And a lot of these people are Christians. Verse 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. Well, this is not talking about sinful evil. This is talking about calamities and adversity and affliction. That's the evil. That is a poor word that the translators use. They could have used another word besides evil. So, again, we see who Yahweh getting all the glory. Right? Let's continue. Let's go to Job 38, verse 18. And you see how Yahweh glorified himself? Let's go to Job 38, verse 18 to verse 24. Job 38, verse 15, verse 18 to verse 24. Now this is Yahweh talking to Job. Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it all. Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? That thou shouldest take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldest know the path to the house thereof. Knowest thou it because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? By what way is the light parted, which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided a watercourse for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, on the wilderness where there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth? Hath the rain a father, or have begotten, who have begotten the drops of dew? I think I went too far. I was supposed to stop at verse 24, but then again, it's still saying the same thing. Who did all this? Yahweh did all this. Let's continue. Let's go to Revelation 11 and verse 13. Revelation 11 and verse 13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and a tenth part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory unto the God of heaven. You see, they were frightened, but they glorified Yahweh. Even though it says here, in the same hours there was a great earthquake, and the tenth part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the God of heaven. Now this is an earthquake, but they knew who did it. They knew where it came from, and they glorified Yahweh. Praise Yah. That's what they were saying. But if you worship Mother Nature, are you going to glorify Mother Nature for the earthquake? No, you're not. Mother Nature, her good. Her don't do no wrong. But they're looking at the reality here that Yahweh even causes earthquakes to come upon the earth, and they glorified him for doing that. Will you do that when these things come to pass? This hadn't happened yet, by the way. But these earthquakes and floods that you have coming upon the earth, do you glorify the Father for bringing it upon the earth and sparing you to see it? To see his great power, that he can do anything he wants, whatever he wants, whenever he wants? No. You don't even glorify Mother Nature. Let's continue. Let's go to Matthew 24 verse 1 to verse 8. Matthew 24, verse 1 to verse 8. And Yahshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the bidding of the temple. And Yahshua said unto them, See you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the age? And Yahshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So again, look at what Mashiach is showing you. He's prophesying that these things are going to come to pass. And have they? Since he said this, yes. Those things have come to pass. He says, you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. We're hearing that now. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You're going to have wars. From the time he said that to now, you've had wars and rumors of wars. So that's to show that he was speaking the truth. He said, he also said, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So what we have here is the Mashiach showing you that everything is going to go according to plan. But the question was, when shall the end be? Let's continue. And so Mother Nature comes from the Greek ancestors of white people. And since Mother Nature is not of Yahweh, she must then come from Satan. Gaia must come from Satan. Mother Nature must come from Satan. Let's prove that. Let's go to Acts 26, verse 12 to verse 18. Acts 26, verse 12 to verse 18. Now this is Paul defending himself from the accusation of the Jews. Now he's talking to Agrippa, King Agrippa. It says in verse 12, Whereupon as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priests, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun shining around about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, master? And he said, I am Yahshua, whom thou persecutest. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in the which I will appear unto thee, delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan unto Elohim, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me. White people, y'all been worshiping Satan. And you didn't, back in these days you were, and you were open about it because you were worshiping Zeus and Jupiter and all the pantheon of gods and all the Parthenon of gods. You worshiping all those things until the Mashiach Yahshua sent Paul to you to tell you it's not but one God. And there's one mediator between that one God and us, and that's Yahshua. So he was sent to turn them away from Satan, and look what they're doing now. They went straight back to Satan and made a religion out of it. So, you're a Christian, but what about the Bible? The Bible is not a Christian book. There's nothing about Christianity in the book. As a matter of fact, the word Christianity does not appear in the Bible nowhere. Let's continue. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11, verse 12 to verse 15. 2 Corinthians 11, verse 12 to verse 15. But what I do, that I will. Now, this is Paul writing to the Corinthians. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of the Mashiach, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end should be according to their works. So again, you can't see Satan, but you can see the effects that he has on people, because he convinced people, number one, not to keep Yahweh's law. Number two, to beat Yahweh's people down to the earth. Number three, to worship other gods other than the God of Israel. And all those things are of Satan. And they also worship idols and statues too. So again, if you got a statue, then you're worshiping Satan. Let's go to Isaiah 44 and verse 6 to verse 9. Isaiah 44, verse 6 to verse 9. Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts. I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. And who as I shall call and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them. Fear you not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? You are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. So Yahweh does not know Gaia. He does not know Zeus. Does not know Jupiter. He does not know any of these gods of the nations. He don't even know Allah. I know that's going to upset a lot of Muslims, but Yahweh don't know y'all. If you don't worship Yahweh, you're not worshiping a God. My God's name is not Yahweh. My God's name is not Allah, forgive me. My God's name is not Allah. It's not Jehovah. It is Yahweh. All right. Let's continue. They that make graven images are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed. That Kaaba, I know it's a big building, but it's still an image that draws all the Muslims around the world to walk around. It's an image. And that don't even count the images of the Christian God. He's all over the world. Let's continue. In Isaiah 14, verse 12 to verse 17. Isaiah 14, verse 12 to verse 17. Now, I want you to listen carefully to what Isaiah 14 is saying, because it reflects on your religion. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Now, did you catch what we just read here in Isaiah in verse 13? It says, For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. He said, I will ascend to heaven. Don't Christians say the same thing? That's what makes Christianity so attractive, because you say that when a Christian dies, he goes to heaven. It ain't about what's written in the Bible. It's about the religion itself. Who came up with Christianity? White people. You can't find anywhere where Paul or Peter or James or John, not one of these apostles ever called themselves a Christian. Not one. So where did Christianity come from? White people. It's not in the Bible nowhere. Now that's going to piss off a lot of Christians, especially black Christians, because they got their own interpretation of what Paul is saying. So that Paul said, well, I'd rather be with the Lord than be with the body. Like he's going out there. No. He's talking about spiritual things. That's something you Christians do not understand about spiritual things. But people with the Spirit is what wrote the Bible. You don't have the Spirit if you got a religion. So you go ahead with your religion, your Christianity, and listen to all the lies that they've been talking. I don't think that's right. I want to thank y'all for joining us. Join us again, Yahweh willing, next week. And we'll go with Beyond the Surface. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh bless you and keep you.